What's up? Brian Tong here, back and still healing up, and welcome to the Apple Bits for everything good and bad inside the world of Apple. Let's get caught up with the latest happenings. And, I just recently had Mark Gurman from Bloomberg on my Apple Bits XL audio podcast, so you should all check that out. And he has been pumping a lot of news out during this tech lull before things start finally picking back up this week. And oh yeah, you'll see what I mean by that, so just keep coming back. Now, in his latest report, Gurman says AirPods Pro 2 are still on track to be released this fall with a new design that will either reduce the current stems or get rid of the stems completely, bringing improved audio quality and potentially new health features. It's also been almost 3 years since the first AirPods Pro came out in the fall of 2019, so, these are ripe for an Apple update. Now, Gurman also says AirPods Max could get a refresh with new colors, and if we're looking at what colors Apple has embraced recently, Apple's been going green, and I think a darker green color combo would be awesome because that white headband on the current green was bleh. Now let's redo that, okay? I could even see gold looking really hot, or could we see new purple AirPods Max? I know that you could get them custom colored at a place like Colorware, but what Apple needs to do first out of anything is lower that $549 price point. I mean, that might be the biggest thing that they can do to start moving AirPods Max units. And I know we won't see $399, but would they dare even to go to $449 or just play it safe at $499, which won't do much, or do absolutely nothing at all? Now, Gurman had reported last year that Apple was not working on a second generation model of the AirPods Max and that new color options are still being worked on, but there's no timeline of their release. Now, we're also expecting to see some new improvements in the Apple Watch ecosystem for Fitness Plus and also see some Apple Pay developments, according to Gurman. I've been wanting a whole lot more from the Apple Watch software-wise after last year's pretty lukewarm minimal updates. Now, Apple's reportedly planning new workout types to Apple Fitness Plus in iOS 16 and has also explored a Instacart-like service that integrates with nutrition data in the Health app to allow you to order healthier food options in the app. Now, Loop Ventures reports that we could have enhanced versions of some of Apple's services by adding a plus to them because, isn't that what we're supposed to do now? Plus everything. So potential enhancements to apps like Podcast Plus, Stocks Plus, or Mail Plus, they might be coming in the future and might be part of maybe a new revised Apple One service plan. That remains to be seen. But the two finance-related Apple services that are also reportedly in development, well, for the financial services, one was the rumored hardware subscription service that we covered a few weeks ago. So that would allow you to pay a monthly fee to get access to Apple hardware like an iPhone, an iPad, or Mac for the duration of the subscription. And then another buy now, pay later service specifically for Apple Pay transactions that would allow customers to pay for Apple Pay purchases in installments, similar to a service like Affirm or Klarna. Now, these services aren't guaranteed to happen, but Gurman says that Apple is hoping to roll out the hardware subscription service by the end of 2022 if they can make it happen. And since we're still talking hardware, we've got to talk about new Macs. And on my podcast this week, Mark Gurman had this to say. How are they going to squeeze all this hardware in like a fall season if they don't release something at WWDC? So where are you at with that?
Here's my concern. It's the chip shortage and the situation in China, where a lot of the Apple suppliers have been locked down. They're supposed to release the new MacBook Air and the new low-end MacBook Pro with M2 chips it's Friday, May 6th, so basically exactly a month from now. How are you supposed to get those out the door when you're having this situation right in the middle of, high ramp time? What I feel comfortable saying is that Apple had plans to release 2 new Macs in the next month or so, right? So either this month or next month, right? Including that MacBook Air. So we shall see what happens on the production side.
Now, Mark has always suggested that they might be coming around this time frame, but this is the first time he said that Apple actually had plans to release 2 new Macs in the next month or so around WWDC, but we have this current uncertainty that's around the supply chain and production, so it hasn't been rolled out, but we'll find out in a few more weeks. Also, a recent Twitter post even breaks down the average current wait times for Apple products in different configurations if you order them today. Some of them are hitting 2 to 3 months. So, I know you get a little impatient. Just sit tight. I mean, we are lucky to have these amazing tools and tech toys. Just don't be an entitled brat about them. All right, now one of the little under the radar aspects about WWDC22 is that although it will be an all digital event, and I'll be streaming it live from my YouTube channel right here, so you know, you come on out when it happens. Well, Apple will also be having a viewing party in person for a small amount of developers at Apple Park campus. They're gonna be able to watch the keynote and the platform State of the Union on Monday, June the 6th. So developers are now able to enter a lottery to attend that viewing party. Apple is accepting entries through the developer website where you can submit a request, and invitations will be randomly selected. So good luck to y'all who are going for this, because you're gonna need it. All right, here's a fun story, because it's still hard to really separate Apple's former design chief, Jony Ive, completely from Apple. You know, he's left the company and started his own design group called Love From in 2019. And Apple has said Ive was involved in the design of the new 24-inch iMac, but it's never been clear to what extent and if that work happened before or after he left. Well, Ive was recently interviewed by the Financial Times, and he revealed his 12 must-have design tools. Think of it as his everyday carry. And on this list were some really interesting things. Now, I'm not gonna go through all 12, but he had a snap-on torque wrench that costs $399 on his list. I mean, that looks pretty normal for a designer, but two that stuck out to me, like to a regular person like me: a platinum-plated Faber-Castell round eraser valued at 100 pounds or about 123 US dollars. I mean, that looks actually pretty dope. But then you gotta love this one: a $530 Hermes leather in the pocket measuring tape. I mean, Jony knows what he likes, and he clearly loves his Hermes, and maybe that's the root of the Hermes relationship with Apple and Jony Ive's really his first push to make the Apple Watch a premium luxury device, which didn't resonate as well with the general public until they focused, you know, more on health and notifications and making it a lifestyle device. Now, if the Hermes measuring tape is too rich for your blood, you can check out this Leatherology one for 45 bucks. You know, same thing. Now, two quick things. New BMW cars are temporarily shipping without Apple CarPlay compatibility. And when I first saw that headline, I thought, that's stupid. Well, the automaker changed its chip supplier to strengthen its supply chain and benefit them in the long run. But because of that, the new chips built into many BMWs manufactured this year around the world, they're gonna require a software update to allow them to run Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So new car owners who are dealing with this have been told to wait for an over-the-air update that will bring back the functionality by the end of June at the latest. We're gonna see if that happens. And then if you wanna throw some gasolina on the Apple versus Samsung wars, because, you know, it just fundamentally bothers you when someone is using a phone on a different platform than you. And I know there are people watching right now that are just like that, like Saeed in London. Well, according to research by website SellCell, and that helps you get the most cash for your device, the Samsung Galaxy S22 range of smartphones depreciated almost 3 times more than the iPhone 13 lineup in the first 2 months after they launched. Now we know Apple products in general have a higher resale value, and Apple supports their products for as long as 5 years or even longer after they've been released. But after just 2 months from being on sale, the S22 lineup as a whole lost 46.8% of its value. The Google Pixel 6 lost 41.5% of its resale value after 2 months, while iPhone 13 models lost just 16.8% of their value 2 months after launch. But guess what? You hear those numbers? Who really cares as long as you love the phone that you bought? I mean, the majority of people, they aren't trying to sell it 2 months later, but long term, you know, realistically, you're not gonna get as much cash for your Android phone compared to an iPhone when you're ready to trade in, let's say, a year or 2 years or even longer down the road. And also, keep the boxes and manuals, like don't throw them away if you want some really great resale value. All right, everybody, that is gonna do it for this video. If you like what you see, give me that thumbs up, subs up, and hit that notification bell, ding, to get all my latest videos when they drop. And if you want more of that Apple goodness, you can check out my weekly Apple Bits XL audio podcast to get the latest deep dive with all these stories and new ones every week with special guests. And if you want to support all my content, patreon.com/BrianTong is where you can do it for early access, rewards at different levels, and a completely ad-free version of my podcast. Support starts at just $2 a month. All right, thanks again for watching, everybody. Take care and be safe, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace and love.